Well, I'm here to do my formal speech. This is my audience. I got an audience of 3. They're all over 21. They're here to hear my formal speech presented tonight. Hello, everyone. Do I look familiar to you? Or better yet, I bet you're also wondering why I'm standing before you dressed like I just got out of a garage. Well, if you own a vehicle, just about every 3 months or 3,000 miles or so, you and your vehicle take a visit to a service garage to get an oil change. Well, let me formally introduce myself. My name is Chris Lawson, and for the past 3 years, I've been working at Walmart as a service technician in the Tire Lube Express section. And basically what my job consists of is to do basic maintenance on customer vehicles, which includes mounting tires, we do rotation and balance, installing headlights, headlight restorations, and of course, oil changes. Now, oil changes can generally cost somewhere between 30 to 60 bucks. And if you're like me trying to save some money, this can, cause a problem. But fortunately for you, I'm here to explain how to do your own oil change in just 5 easy steps. And in this hard economical time, hopefully I can save some, for one, money, time, and aggravation. We all know the aggravation it is, when you want to go just get a simple oil change that should take 15-20 minutes, but when you arrive to your service station, you got 5 cars ahead of you, or even 3 hours of wait time before they even pull your vehicle into the shop. So with that said, that brings me into my first step. Your first step to remember is lifting your vehicle. This is the most important step because this is a safety hazard to you. Because lifting your vehicle is, if it comes crashing down on you, it's a lot of weight that can cause serious injuries. So you want to make sure you do this properly. Your vehicle should come with a manufacturer jack somewhere in the spare trunk compartment with your spare tire. And if it don't, then because most of us buy used cars, so a lot of times we don't have everything that comes with your vehicle. But you can either borrow a jack from someone, or you can purchase your own. That way you have it for the future. I wouldn't recommend getting anything over 3.5 tons because your average passenger vehicles don't weigh no more than 2.5 tons. So this should do the job, the 3.5 ton jack. After you get it up in the air and you're able to maneuver comfortably, I will also recommend placing some jack stands underneath your vehicle. What this is a safety. It acts as a safety mechanism, because just say your jack malfunctions or someone walks by and accidentally lowers your jack. What's going to stop this vehicle from falling on you? Hopefully you got those jack stands under there, because that's what's going to stop the fall. And it's safer to have one of those in there. So step 2, after you got your vehicle raised safely, is to locate your drain plug and your oil filter and removing it. Now, the simplest way I can tell you to locate your oil pan where your drain plug is located, they're all basically, for most of your cars, is in the front of your vehicle. And once you're in the front of your vehicle, it's either located in the middle or on the passenger side underneath the vehicle. And how you can generally recognize the oil pan is because it has one of these in it, which is a drain plug. This is what you're going to take out when you're draining your oil pan to get all your oil out. Now, the best way to recognize this, it sits generally like this up under your vehicle. There's hardly nothing else under your vehicle that has this little plug inserted that you can visibly see. This stands out. So the best way I can tell you to locate it is just look for this little plug. Once you found that plug, it's located on your engine. Next thing you want to do is to loosen it up. Once you have it loose, you should be able to take your fingers and take this plug all the way out. If you loosen it and you can't get it out, it starts getting tighter, what I suggest is that you tighten it back up. Go ahead and tighten it right back up. Try to get it real snug. Don't over tighten it now, because that can cause other problems. But go ahead and tighten it up. And if it tightens back down, go ahead and cautiously remove the plug. You're okay. Because if that plug would have kept spinning, then that means your pan could be stripped. And after that, you should go see a mechanic. recommend repairs. But after that, second part of this step 2 is to locate your oil filter. Now your oil filter is a whole lot easier to locate because of the simple fact of how uniform they are. Basically, your oil filter looks like this. Round cylinder. They may not be this color. They might not be the same size. You have some that's smaller. You have some that's a little bit skinnier. And you also have some that differs in color. But they all generally look like this. Now to locate your oil filter, it's generally around your oil pan where you take your drain plug out. It can be sit right beside the pan. It can sit above the pan on the engine somewhere. It can sit on the side or in the front. So you may have to inspect around the pan a little bit just to find your oil filter, but it won't be too hard. You'll be able to point it out because they all look the same. Now, when removing your filter, the one thing I want to say is to make sure that the gasket comes out of the filter. Because if you don't do this, what happens is this little piece right here, which we call the oil filter gasket, gets stuck up there, and then you go ahead and replace your new one, and now you do what we call double gasketing. Double gasketing means when you start your vehicle and you decide to go on your drive, all of a sudden your oil is just leaking out, just coming out of the oil filter. And pretty soon all your oil is going to be gone. So it's always safe to make sure that the oil gasket comes off with the oil filter. After you do that, just replace it and you're good to go. Now our third step was to just go ahead and replace those. You already completed those. So step 4 is to add your oil. Now this is the most easiest and simplest part, so to speak, because anyone can add oil. Anyone knows how to do that. And you got a cap on top that says engine oil, so anyone can see that. But the thing that's most important with that is to make sure you put the right amount of oil and the right type of oil. Now you can also find this in your user manual, but like I discussed earlier, sometimes you buy a used car and you don't get everything with it. So what I suggest is go to your automotive department store, buy a vehicle lubrication guide. This will tell you what type of oil filter, what type of oil, and how much oil to add to your vehicle. After you find that out, add the correct amount of oil and the correct type and replace your cap, and then it's time for step 5. Step 5 is to do a pressure test. Now a pressure test is basically, do not let your car down. You basically have to start your car while it's still in the air, look under it, make sure there's no leaks from your oil filter you replaced and your drain plug. Once you don't see no leaks from that, you're okay. You can shut your car off, lower your car, and you're ready to go. You have now successfully did your first oil change. Now, after explaining and going over the steps to perform your own oil change, I hope that you leave here with the knowledge to perform your own oil change in the future. It can help you save money, time, and aggravation. All you gotta do is just remember these 5 little steps. Step 1 was lifting your vehicle in a safe manner. Step 2 was to drain your oil from your drain plug and your oil filter. Step 3 was to replace those drain plugs and oil filters. Step 4 was to add the correct amount of oil and the right type of oil. Step 5 was the pressure test. By following those 5 easy steps, you can never go wrong with changing your own oil. Alright, yeah. Alright, so my audience, they're still here, and now I'm going to show you my visual aids. This was the gaskets I was telling you about. Basically look the same, and these are my oil filters. Kind of beat up to use, so got them from work. But that's it.